veteran wearing that new outfit, he was like $1 million. Giving back is key for me, quite frankly. We did an event called Suiting Our Heroes, where we invited everybody to come in and basically donate their gently used suit. Because there's a lot of veterans out there, to be quite frank, that can't even afford a suit. So what we did was we had the community get involved, giving food, giving some soft drinks, and basically come out and donate your gently used suit. What we did with those suits is we went ahead and gave them to veterans that couldn't afford anything because they're gently used. We had them tailored. We donated a shirt and tie to go with that. And guess what? When you see a veteran wearing that new outfit, he feels like $1 million. And he knows he can go out there for the next chapter of his life and feel confident about that.
Hey, we're live and James isn't here. He completely missed movement. I apologize. I don't even know where he's at. I think he's asleep, or I think he said he was going to McDonald's or something. So I apologize for that. Oh, wait, no, there he is. He finally made it in. What's going on? Why does it look like you're working at a call center today?
I don't know. Don't mind the little head back here behind me. That's Alana. So anyway, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm just talking. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, I can hear you. I feel like I'm calling in and you're going to help me with some of my IT services today.
I am. So I tell you what, thank goodness I'm a 25 Alpha because I had to borrow my wife's computer. This is the computer that I was using. Notice Dell. Don't use it. Don't recommend the product. It totally crashed on me. So
James' opinion did not officially reflect those of Lounge with Legends or Joint Task Force 214. That's my disclaimer. Go ahead, James.
Good save. But thanks so much. Was able. So now I'm on the Levino. So anyway, got the Levino up and going. Hopefully this will last. But I think what happened was yesterday you blew. We were on the phone or on the Zoom call so long that we ended up blowing up my computer. That's what happened.
My fault. I got it. Okay.
I got to blame you for something, right?
Yes. Well, join the club. So man, it's been an exciting week. James obviously got evicted from his house and doesn't even have a laptop he can use.
Or a collared shirt. I had to wear a t-shirt. So I said, well, why not wear this shirt with my jacket? So
I like it. And by the way, James is wearing the prototype of a hat, but we actually have the new hats that are coming in and will be featured on our website, the Legend hats for Lounge with Legends. So now we have our hats and our shirts. So if you're looking to buy, great Father's Day, Mother's Day gift, hint, hint. But they're coming up. And what do we have tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow, geez, we have our event. I'll put it in the chat. You want to talk about it real quick while I pull it up, James?
Yeah, so obviously we're going to have one of our great coaches, Donald Miller. He's going to be leading us on a business model to help you with your small business and talk about the financial aspect of that. And then give some block of instructions, business made simple and help you with your business so you don't make the same mistakes that a lot of folks find themselves in when it comes to operating a business. The first thing we think about is money, but the last thing we think about is how to use those money in business. And this is going to be an hour block of instruction. What is Nick saying about the hat? Oh yeah. We're finally going to get you a hat, Nick. We'll get you a hat. I promise. That is guaranteed. But tomorrow's going to be a great event. It's for free, and come in, learn as much as you need to from our coach, Donald Miller. And then, this is just an opportunity that we partnered with him, and this is a great opportunity for you business owners out there.
Yeah, and the title of the course is Cash Flow: How to Manage Your Small Business Finances. And it's those things that we really don't really appreciate until it's too late. So so basically in an hour you'll have a better understanding of the the financial positioning of your company and how to do that. And so this course here is absolutely free, 100%. And Donald Miller will teach the course. You sign up, Donald Miller will teach the course with the Story Brand team, and James and I, mainly James, will be there to answer questions afterwards. And it's a great opportunity. And as you know, we love our veteran entrepreneurs and small business owners, and this is a way to tackle one of those. So last month we did stop selling to your customer, invite them into a story. This month we're doing finance. What are we doing next month? Got to stay tuned. So we'll do that. But enough about that. Who do we got today? Does James even know, because he was so
yes, I was so late to the call, but you know what? I was motivated for this call because of actually talking with Sarah a long time ago. I went out and bought a book. I don't know if you know this, Marty. Did you know I bought a book? No, a book, a real book. I bought this book. Can you read that?
I can't read.
Marcus Aurelius, the Meditations book. After I spoke with Sarah about her organization and what they do there, I was like, why are they called Aurelius? Marcus Aurelius. I think I said it pronounced it improperly, and you corrected me. I think I pronounced it
Aurelius.
Right. Yeah, but I am from North Carolina. I am from the South, right? South Korea. But anyway, bottom line is I had to go out and buy this meditation book after speaking with them. And they're doing some great things with the adventures training, the purpose, the resiliency, the training of veterans, active duty, all those first responder things. And I'm excited to get her on the episode. I thought we're gonna have a superstar coming in. I think her dog was supposed to be here. I don't see it though in the background. I see her on the stage, but I don't see the dog here.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll figure it out. But enough about us. Let's get her on here. I'm ready. You ready, brother?
Let's go.
What? Never does that to me. It's always James. Hey, welcome. Thanks for being our legend this week.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to reconnect. I know we talked a couple months ago, and I also bought a couple new books based off your recommendations. But, there's so many extraordinary people out there. And because of Lounge with Legends and the outlet that the podcast provides, it's people like me that are able to learn from the guests that you have and all that you guys do through Lounge with Legends and Joint Task Force. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And you guys just started, congratulations, just started your podcast. So
yeah, it's a work in progress, more like recorded conversations, if you will. But we're really excited for that because we get to really tell a lot of our heroes' stories through that podcast.
And what's the name of the podcast and where can we find you?
AT Purpose. So Adventures in Training with a Purpose, or ATP for short. So we went with AT Purpose for the podcast name, and that's on Spotify and all the major channels.
All right. We'll drop a link in there here in a bit, but go on there, check them out, and hit the like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a single thing to do that, to like and subscribe and support people that you're going to find out with Sarah and their mission and what they're doing to help so many. It's a great way of giving back. So congratulations on taking that step, because, starting a podcast is one of those things where you're like, yeah, it sounds great. And then you're like, there's so much work to do. And holy shnikes. Chapter 3 of our book, The Profitable Podcast Planner, chapter 3 is literally titled, Holy Shnikes, there's equipment too. Yes, there is.
Way over my head. And people often say, Sarah, you and Caleb and Trek, the dog that James mentioned, you guys need just a camera, like a reality show, just following you around. And so I said, that might be a little bit too much, but we'll start with a podcast. And fortunately, we have an expert, CJ, who does all the technical stuff for us.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a blessing. That is good to have that in your corner.
Well, if anybody can have a 14,000-foot wedding and you guys can accomplish that, I think you can accomplish a podcast. Mount Kilimanjaro is no small task.
It's not, but it's really one foot in front of the other. When it comes to a computer screen or technology or mixing sound, that's not my gift. So I stay in my lane.
As you can see, I'm not the techie either, so we know who the tech person is. down
I
here
just
below me.
I just make videos and stuff. That's all I do. But no, but you're right, and it's important. You hit on something. It's just one foot in front of the other to go up Mount Kilimanjaro. But a lot of times that's a mentality thing, and that's kind of what got James and through long road marches. It got me through a long road march where you're in these times and you're like, look, one foot in front of the other, just keep moving, just like Dory, right? Just keep swimming, just keep moving, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and eventually you're going to get there. It's going to suck, but you'll get there. And at the end of it, usually it's something you feel better at the end. You get to appreciate something.
That's what, we lead a team there once a year. So we've done that for 2 years now. This year will be our third. And, when we're preparing our team, I tell them this is just as much of a mental challenge than it will be physical. And
so wait,
you have to train mentally and physically.
Before
we got way ahead of ourselves.
Before he volunteers me, I'm volunteering Marty because he'll volunteer me for this next hike. So I'm volunteering Marty.
Oh, good. He muted himself.
You've been muted.
No, that's perfect. So he just said, all I heard was I volunteer, and then it cut off. So James volunteered. He's in there. JTF 214 will pay for his entire thing. He's going to go. He's next. He's signing up.
We'd love to have you guys.
So what I was going to say is we kind of jumped right into it. When you say we, let's back up. Who is we? Tell us about, you talked about AT. What's Adventures in Training? What is this amazing thing that you've put together right now that you're talking about?
Yeah, so we is my husband Caleb and I, and we got engaged on the top of Mount Kilimanjaro in 2020, and then we later had a mountain ceremony in 2021 where we had all of really our favorite people over in Tanzania. The people over there are so special to us, and we've really learned and transformed through the love that they have for serving people. And so it's really important for us to have them a part of our special day too. So we had a mountain wedding over there last year, but we is Caleb and I, and it is a family affair over here in Pittsburgh, PA at Adventures in Training with a Purpose and Aurelius. So it's a lot of fun though. It helps us to provide that community feeling that we're going for throughout our program. With our family literally being here at work, we can easily transfer that across the board.
You all do some amazing stuff. And if I'm looking off screen, bear with me because I want to make sure that I am sharing your website with the Lounge with Legends family. So we're putting it in there. That's the Adventures in Training with a Purpose website. And as I'm looking at this, I got it. Let me see if I can share this because this is absolutely, I love your website. Whoever does your website is absolutely amazing. We talked about this.
That credit goes to Caleb. And Marty, you and I were talking about, with startup or small businesses, how we get to do a lot of things that we're not necessarily gifted in because right now there's nobody else to do them. So Caleb put together the website, and I think it looks phenomenal. And it's done its job so far. It's brought in people that we can serve. But yeah, so our team is growing too. So we're excited for that.
And you say people who you can serve. Who do you serve?
So through Adventures in Training with a Purpose, we serve those with chronic pain and disease. So that can be somebody with ALS, Parkinson's, a spinal cord injury, really of all ages too. The youngest person that we serve right now, he's 5 years old. And 3 years ago, his parents brought him in because the doctors had told them, there he is right there. So the doctors had told them that he would never walk independently or be able to communicate with anybody. And they really had nowhere else to go. They'd been told, no, this isn't going to work by so many people. So they brought him to us, and he's been training with us for 3 years now. And as of this year, he's walking independently and communicating with us. And it's been really exciting to see the growth, even through this 5-year-old little boy who's become family to us. And the oldest one that we serve is 97. He's actually a World War II veteran.
Oh my gosh. And so how old is the little boy now?
He is 6.
6. Wow. So half his life you've been working with him.
Yeah. He's become a part of our family, and it's really a reminder of why we're here.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And a reminder of why we're here is we have great supporters like Uncle Roy, who is going to help James go with you on your next hike. So thank you, Uncle Roy. We hope you're feeling better. But thanks, Uncle Roy. Bam, done. James, you're going. So I signed up James for everything. It's great.
He signed me up for a personal training, and I'm doing that. I get a message this morning from my personal trainer, said, "Hey, great job tracking your meals, but we need to work on the Fruity Pebbles." I was like, "What's wrong with Fruity Pebbles? That's rice. What's wrong with Fruity Pebbles? Is that not healthy?"
No. But going back to the website here, I love this because it talks about, so those of y'all are wondering, what they do, who they serve. She just talked about who they serve. And then here's the veterans and active duty first responders. So pretty much everybody. And I love it. And you guys have, what we talk about is the mind, body. You say soul, we say spirit, but the mind, body, soul. 1 to 14-day adventures around the globe. And this is, how do you find the time to do all this stuff?
Well, the adventures were really something that Caleb and I were doing regardless. That's what we do in our downtime. And what we realized personally was the transformation that being outside in God's creation, challenging our bodies, the impact that it had on us. And we thought, why don't we bring the people that we're serving along with us and see how that goes? So actually it was kind of born out of COVID, when, fitness facilities were forced to close. You couldn't be within 6 feet of each other if you were indoors. So Caleb and I just one day on social media posted that we were going to be hiking in the morning and come and join us if you'd like. And 24 people showed up to that. And we were surprised because it was a January day. And in Pittsburgh, January is definitely not optimal weather for being outside in general, but it was 12 degrees, raining/snowing, and 24 people showed up to that. So, and then they asked when they could come and do it again. And so that's when we really started to say, okay, this needs to be a part of the program that we offer here.
Yeah, you guys are seeing these pictures of what they do. Do you guys offer nutritional counseling to help out James and Nick here with their diet?
We do actually, and that's really something new within the last couple months. I really, since Aurelius was officially born, which was just August of 2021. When we decided to make that specialized division serving the veterans, active military, or first responders, we tried to make this just world-class, best service possible. Like, what would I want if I were to walk in and say, okay, I need help? So the last few months have been really zoning in on what's best to serve this community. So nutritional guidance and supplemental guidance, and overall just integrating the behavioral changes that are needed to support someone on the journey of restoring quality of life and optimal health is something that we recently added officially. And her name is Dr. Jennifer Hampton, and her background is in naturopathic healing. And so we've added her to the team, and we're very excited for all that she can provide and help our heroes here on their journey to forging that new path here.
That's amazing. So where do you put Fruity Pebbles in your nutritional plan?
Well, I was thinking, you've certainly got your carbs and sugar there. Fruit, I'm not sure what type of fruit, or maybe it's fruit juice, but I saw a comment that pizza has all food groups, and that's certainly true, and works for some people.
Well, I figured if it was good enough for Bam Bam and Pebbles, it was good enough for me. So
Right.
but no, in all seriousness, it takes that, like what you're doing, it takes that mentorship and that coaching and that advising, because, without it, we're going to deviate back to our ways. And
Yeah.
that's why it's so important that we get the folks that know what they're doing to help us. And that's why it's so important to leverage that relationship.
Yeah. It's
So
really,
I see. No, go ahead. Sorry.
she's really good at helping to see that there is pleasure in fueling your body properly and what it needs. Yes, you can still have the pizza and the fruity pebbles, make sure there's more of the other stuff too. So it's all about balance.
Much rejoicing from the Team Phelps camp over there. So I see that the climb to Mount Kilimanjaro is coming up in July.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot of. How much training does it take for James to get ready for this?
Well, I mentioned the physical and the mental training, which is what we enforce or stress that is very important, obviously. But really the core, the back, the legs, and the lungs. So make sure you get those anaerobic workouts in too to help your body acclimatize to that elevation.
Right. So you guys are not in Raleigh or DC. Does people that want to do this trip have to be local, or can they you give them a plan and they train up and then meet you, or how does this work?
Oh, no, they can be from all over. This year we actually have our team, there's about 15 people on it right now, and they're from all over the US. And what we're really excited about is when we have somebody that goes through the program, we like to gift them or sponsor them to do one of our more extreme adventures, such as Mount Kilimanjaro. So if you actually scroll down a little bit there, this was the very first person that we sponsored. Her name is Susan. So that's Susan and I on the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro last year. And she went through our program, the full mind, body, soul model that we have here. And she was a SWAT paramedic, and she found us because she was going through some traumatic experiences that were having an effect on her life in all areas. So she reached out and said, I'm interested in this program. She completely bought in and trusted us to help her on this journey. And her life was transformed through it. And so we sponsored her to climb Mount Kilimanjaro for us. And there's a really cool video out there too that I'll share with you guys, really about her story. And we made it on Mount Kilimanjaro. And it was really a story of, defining what's that summit for you. Everybody's reason or summit is different. Yeah. And how did I get here? And now what? What's my next summit? Or what's my path look like moving forward? And so she's one of my personal heroes. And we're just really excited to be able to offer the opportunity to do such a challenge to the people that go through our program.
That is amazing. I mean, you talk about empowering. I can't wait to see the transformation that's going to occur when Nick Phelps and James Phelps complete this journey. With their pizza and fruity pebbles.
The food is great over there too. So
Tanzania's got wonderful food.
Some fruity pebbles for you too.
If someone were to start from scratch, and so they need to start your program first, you recommend them do your program first and then actually go and do the summit after that point. Is that correct?
Well, for the sponsorship opportunity, yes, we would like that the individual would go through our program, and then we would gift them the opportunity to go to Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, I do have someone on our team this year who has gone through a program very similar to ours, Shields and Stripes, which we've talked about before. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to give somebody who'd gone through their program the opportunity to climb Mount Kilimanjaro as well. So when I talked with Steve, this was important to let this be impactful for the person that he chose to go on this. So we're excited to offer that to other like-minded organizations too.
See, now that's awesome because they're closer to me, just about 45 minutes south of me. So I could train up with them, join. Marty, this might happen. This is going to happen
There you
next
go.
year. Let's do that.
There you
Let's
go.
do that. Yeah.
And it looks like Nick is in as well. He says, heights are perfect for me. I want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. My goals are so high. Please sign me up. That's what I read.
You know, we also do a Grand Canyon rim to rim, a little bit lower elevation. If you're afraid of heights, though, there's some risky areas there. So I don't know, but it's also one that is a little bit shorter of a time frame. So we find most people can take off work for that amount of time versus 14 days in Kilimanjaro.
Yeah,
I love it. I mean, you're giving, you know, I'm thinking it from a veterans and first responders perspective. You know, you're giving them meaning. You know, you're giving them a purpose. Say, hey, look, we're going to do this Mount Kilimanjaro hike. You're giving them that short meaning to like a goal, and you're just, like you said earlier, just one step in front of the other. I love it. I think it's ingenious, actually.
Well, actually, just 2 weeks ago, because we do local adventures, we always say Pittsburgh, we don't have the best of anything, but we've got a little bit of everything. So, you know, we're always outside hiking, biking, rock climbing. But just 2 weeks ago, we did an overnight hike / camp, and we chose that week because we thought, oh, wow, the weather will be breaking. It'll be somewhat warm, and, you know, we'll have a great time. It'll introduce spring to all those here in Pittsburgh. Well, of course, it snowed and rained, and it was icy and foggy, and but it was, you know, we find when those challenges that are out of our control occur, the adventure is all the more impactful. And that's really, you know, we don't plan for bad weather. We don't wish that, but when it happens, there's so much more impact that each person on that adventure has the opportunity for. And one of our veterans that was with us, he was Army veteran and now state trooper. After we were finished with the hike, it was a 2-day hike, you know, sleeping outside in the snow and rain. He said, you know, that is the first time that I hiked willingly, you know, not for the Army or for training, but I chose to do this myself. Yeah, it was miserable. The weather was not ideal, but I had so much fun. And that's really what it's all about.
That's true. It's like I saw this thing and it said, it's impossible to be in a bad mood on a hike. And then it showed a bunch of infantry soldiers road marching and it said bullshit.
Yeah, that's the idea. I like to think that, but
I know James and I have been on a couple of those movements. My mom just sent me a text earlier, you know, about what was my first foreign jump wings. And I said, oh, it was in Belgium. And that was Belgium in the Ardennes forest in February. And we did a boat movement as well. And I was like, talk about being cold and miserable. Go, you know, Ardennes forest sounds wonderful, except when it's February and it's freezing. And so,
oh man. Well, the first time we went to Kilimanjaro, it's -10 and 50-mile-per-hour winds up on the summit. And that was not ideal. And that was Kevin, who's our guide who brings us up there, said that was the worst weather he's ever had. And he's been 44 times. So people ask, you know, what would make you want to go back to expose yourself to that? And for us, you know, it's not about how many summits I get or, you know, the highest mountain that I climb. It's about providing the experience for the team that we lead up that mountain and to the summit. So that's no matter the weather or how many summits we get, that's what's important to us.
Well, each one's got to be different. It's its own experience.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
It's kind of like as I I don't do them anymore, but I used to do Ironmans and half Ironman. And why do I keep doing it? Because a lot of them, that's a lifetime goal for a lot of people, or like a marathon that you're one and done. But I just kept doing them because each and every one of them, the train up is different, and then actually executing the race. And I know Orlando's on here. He's an avid runner as well. And each one has got its own memories. And, you know, when you look back, and for some people, it's just a medal they give you, a finisher medal. But when you look back, you're like, oh my God, I remember this one. Like I still remember Ironman Arizona 2005. And I remember this one vividly because I'm asking as I'm coming through, and I'm like, I'm asking for water on the bike, and they give me water and I throw it on me, but it wasn't. It was red Powerade or Gatorade. And now I've got another 10 miles in the Arizona desert, just covered,
man.
basically tarred and feathered, but that's just part of the memory, because it didn't happen any other time, any other race. But just like your adventures, you have those little things where you just kind of chuckle and look back and go, wow, that was, there's something about suffering and remembering. I think James romanticizes his time in Ranger School.
I was a one and done. I can't help myself. I was an overachiever and went straight through. But I don't want to talk about myself. But on a serious note, do you have any examples or stories that you can share with us about the experience of going up on this adventure where a veteran or a first responder had that moment in life? Because I can imagine, I'm picturing myself there because I've never climbed Mount Kilimanjaro or anything that high. I could imagine just life, experiencing some different perspective on life being up there. Did you have any stories from an adventure that you had from like that?
Yeah, many stories, and it's really, they all kind of mix together. But when I think about it, it goes back to everybody has their own mountain that they're climbing. Whether it be depression, anxiety, or PTS, or a physical condition, lower back pain, knee pain, or a chronic condition that you're working through. So everybody's got that mountain that they're climbing. And then when you put them on a literal mountain together in a group, you're all suffering and challenging your body and mind at the same time. But what you're climbing for is different per individual, but it's also equally important to everybody. And so I think one of my favorite stories is, we have someone who was a Marine and hardcore and, fit, strong. But when you're in elevation, that's an equalizer. You can be the fittest person on earth, but once you get up in elevation, you're all on the same playing field here. And that hit this person hard. And he was surprised. I was surprised. We were all surprised. But you really lean on those friends that you've made during this hike and this process to bring you up that mountain. Whether they're physically carrying you or talking you through this challenge, one foot in front of the other. Those are the stories that that really hit home for us, and that I think everybody, even if you're not the individual who's been affected by elevation, you see this person being affected and how everybody comes together as a team and helps you reach that summit that is important to you.
That's awesome. Here's what I want to do. I want to cut to commercial real quick, and then we're going to switch gears to your more specialized division, as you call it, of ATP, if you will. Is that okay? That'll give James time to find a Stoic quote and
good.
So let's cut to commercial.
You're watching the Lounge with Legends TV show with your hosts, Marty Martinez and James A. Feltz.
I don't know what is going on with that. Normally it's James and I give him a hard time about it, but there we are. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, we've got Sarah Watkins. We've been talking about the amazing stuff going on with her current adventures in training. And James has signed up with Nick Feltz to do Mount Kilimanjaro. It's going to be amazing in July. And now we're switching gears on their more specialized division. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share a screen. And if you want to talk about it while I share. So what is how do you pronounce this name? Aurelius, or how does James say it?
Aurelius.
And how did you come about this name, and what is it that you do?
Well, the name, obviously, if we had thought hard about it, we would pick something super easy to say / spell. But it's so important to us because of the quote from Marcus Aurelius in his 5th book of Meditations, the 20th entry. And that quote is, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That resonates with us because every veteran, active military, or first responder that walks through our door has an obstacle in the way, keeping them from either a new peak performance or quality of life, and just exploring that new territory, whether it be psychological or physical. And our program here and our team is here to identify those obstacles and forge a path forward to conquer those obstacles. So the name, although hard to spell or say for some, is important to us.
But it embodies exactly what your mission is.
Exactly.
And it's, if you know, you know. And it's, I guess, to summarize, the impediment is the way.
Yep. Yeah. We mentioned earlier, everybody's got their own mountain to climb. And, when you're in this dark space where you've been told by professionals there's no hope or there's no way out, or it's going to take X, Y, and Z to get out and to live a quality life again, that's a pretty scary place to be. And we're there for those individuals that walk through the door to just explore that new territory with them. And when I say new peak performance, it's not about doing the same amount of pull-ups that you did 20 years ago. This is, okay, what is important right now, and what is important in the future? What are your goals, and how can we get you to that peak performance?
Right. No, absolutely. And I like that you guys talk about suffering from a physiological or physical injury. There's a difference, as people, we sometimes forget about these different ones. Psychological wound or physical injury. We forget the difference between the two. We just think of it as physiological or physical. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. The unseen wounds are just as harsh and important to address as the physical ones are.
Yeah, I think it's a great message. I mean, it's about the action. It's, you can set the intentions and then, but if you stop moving, the action's really the key. If you stop moving, then, that's going to stop it all. But, I'm kind of actually reminded, you just said, I was just thinking Don Miguel Ruiz and the 4 agreements, our best is not always going to be our best throughout our life. So, I mean, it's so key to remember that we just got to do our best at this time. And that's what I always tell my daughters, say, hey, just do your best. And that's all you can control. Do your best and your intention, and it will take care of itself. But I love it. I think it's amazing. I am working on my Aurelius. I'm trying to say it correctly. So there we go.
Yeah. No, you're ahead of the game. I have not read that book yet. I am still reading the Daily Stoic, though. Which I know that both of you read.
I got this from Ryan Holiday's actual library. He has a bookstore, and that's where he sells this from. So I bought this from Ryan Holiday. He's a real big, he writes about Stoicism. The Obstacles Away is a great book. I'm reading that one right now as well. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I'll have to add those to my list.
Sorry.
You've given me quite a long list, but they've all been good. And yeah, the Daily Stoic, Ryan Holiday, something really great in addition to the Word of God is something that really just sets the tone of the day and helps you put one foot in front of the other.
Absolutely. So how does this differ from the Adventures in Training program? You have the Adventure Training with the Purpose, and then with the Aurelius, how does this, is this specifically focused on first responders and veterans?
Yeah,
programs are similar, or
I think it's important to talk about ATP and why it was founded, and then kind of how Aurelius was born. And it was born for that reason, because it became so kind of convoluted in how we were explaining what all we do. But ATP was founded by Caleb's father, John Kolb, who spent time with the Pittsburgh Steelers as a player and 4 Super Bowls. And then he was a strength and conditioning coach for many years too. And what happened was it was really kind of this identity shift or knowing that there needed to be one for him. Someone asked him, what are you going to do when you're not doing football? And he didn't have an answer. And that scared him. And so, he really dove deep and thought, what am I going to do? So he started to explore what are his values, what does he believe, how can he best serve the community through what he's gifted at. So he went to school for exercise science and kinesiology and graduated with a master's in that. And then he started working at an orthopedic surgeon's office, providing the functional training for individuals who had been diagnosed with a chronic condition or physical injury. And what happened was a lot of those people stopped coming to the training. And what he realized was it was because their insurance funding had been cut. So they had nowhere else to go. And in turn, they really exhausted all of their finances with medical bills and paying for therapy. But what he knew was these people still had goals that were important to them that they hadn't hit yet. And he wanted to help them hit those goals by training them physically so that they could live that quality life. So after work, he started going into people's homes and training them. And that need became so great. A local church heard what he was doing and said, why don't you come to the church space here and let the people come to you so that you can train them and help them reach those goals. When that grew, we took on some more staff, exercise science trainers that could help him train. Another location in Youngstown, Ohio, heard about it and said, we want you to come here. So that's really the first 2 locations that were ATP locations, all donated space, donated equipment, and we were just training people there. When you fast forward to 2020, when churches and fitness facilities were forced to close and we had nowhere to go, a lot of people shifted to the virtual online training, but that really wasn't an option for us because of the high risk conditions that we were serving, the risk of falling, things like that. So we had to take a breath and say, where are we going and how are we going to be there for the people that we serve? Local psychiatrists and psychologists heard what we were doing and said, I'm telling the people that I'm serving with depression, anxiety, and PTS that they need to be exercising and moving and challenging their body, but I don't have anywhere to send them. Can you guys come here in our doctor's office complex and train them physically? And we said, yes, of course, we'll be there. So that's really where our headquarters location was started, which is Wexford, PA, in partnership with the psychologists and psychiatrists. And then eventually the other programs were able to reopen and, it was business as usual. And what we realized through being here in Wexford, through the partnership with the doctors, a lot of the people coming in were active military veterans or first responders. And I think it's important to note, ever since ATP was born, which is 2015, we've always decided to never charge a veteran or first responder for the training that they receive from us. And when we realized that was the majority of the people that we were seeing now, we decided to make this specialized division of ATP called Aurelius. And with the Aurelius program, once we separated it on the business side of things, it became all the much more easier for myself and Caleb, who do the business side of things, to communicate what we are, who we are, what we do here. So that brought in private donations where we could serve specifically the Aurelius clients. And ever since then, things have really started to fall into place and just grow from there. And that's really when you know you're on the right track and doing the right thing.
That's powerful though. I mean, you guys clarified what your mission is and your message through this journey of just helping, not just helping, but of helping people. And then you go through and but you've done it in such a short amount of time. I know it probably doesn't feel that way, but you really have. When you're in the thick of it, as we say, when you're in a knife fight in a phone booth, it feels like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. But
it really, 2015, but ATP, what it is today, really started at the end of 2021. That's when we really got to zone in on focus. What's our bread and butter? And that's movement. And we know that movement, James, I think you said it earlier, that's the center of everything. If you're not moving, you're not living, you're not doing or being, which actually reminds me of a quote that John likes to refer to, which was by Dr. Luke from the Bible. It's Acts 17:28. In him we live, move, and have our being. And that's really the focus of ATP and where we started. And with Aurelius, ATP still provides the movement training, but we can also, through our partnership with Fortis Future, which are the psychologists and psychiatrists, focus on the mind, in the body, and the soul, all in one encompassing training center here. And so that's really exciting for us.
Wow. No, I love it. And I love the references and how you can tie them all together. They're the quotes, it's pretty awesome. And what you guys are doing is great. And I think I saw in the comments that Nick is very interested in your HydroWorks tank.
Wow. Well, that's another thing that really, once we started kind of moving forward in this path that I knew was my purpose in life. I was selling train tracks in the corporate world before volunteering for ATP, and absolutely loved my job. And what I realized was I needed this connection, or I was missing this connection with my father, who was a Marine veteran in Vietnam. He was a prisoner of war, and he passed away when I was young. And as I grew older, I realized I wanted to learn more and know more about him and his experiences in all aspects of his life. So what I started to do was really just kind of dive into, okay, what do I value? I value movement, challenge, being outside. I have Christian values. How can I serve a community that is meaningful to me, which is the veteran community, with those values? And so that's how I found ATP. And then the demands of my job, I was required to travel a lot more, be gone every week. So my heart grew a little bit restless, and I wanted to be serving the community more than I wanted to be out traveling and enjoying that time. So I left my full-time job and then transitioned to ATP full-time. And so that alone, when you start, I told myself, okay, I'll work for 2 more years and then I'll leave and I'll do ATP full-time. Well, when we go against, what God has asked us to do, we start to grow a little bit restless, and things just don't really work out the way that we want them or thought that they would. So 6 months later, I knew it was time. I dragged that out too long. So I left my job and joined ATP full-time. But that's when really things started to fall into place for my life, and really when ATP started to grow too. And the HydroWorks tank is another example. I think it was Nick that brought that up. But once we started to really formalize this program and announce, Aurelius and the mind, body, soul treatment model, the founder of HydroWorks Googled us and found us online and said, I love the mission. I love what you're doing. I believe in it. I want to donate this HydroWorks tank to you so that you can serve the veteran community. Wow. And so things like that just keep happening. And I think it's a nice reminder that we're on the right track here.
Right. Oh, wow, that's powerful. I think
Nick has power. Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
No, I'm just saying it shows you the power of blessings. We wake up in the morning, and the first thing I ask is, hey, for blessings, because it's okay to ask for blessings. And sometimes we got to remember it's not on our timeline. Sometimes it's on somebody else's timeline. But anyway, sorry.
We're goers, so we want it now.
Oh yeah.
So here's Nick's question. Do you have a licensed physical therapist on staff, or is it just exercise training?
Yeah, we do not have a physical therapist on staff. So John has his degree in kinesiology and exercise science. And we have Nick, who was also an exercise science. He has a master's in that. And he's also a certified NSCA tactical athlete coach too.
Okay.
With the physical therapy, that means we can't charge insurance for the services that we provide. And, there was a time when we thought, man, if we could just charge insurance, we would get so much more money, the cash would be flowing, we could serve more people. But that didn't feel right to move forward and explore doing that. And now we know why. With the insurance, and they do wonderful things. They help many people. However, we would be restricted to what they prescribe. And we do so much more than that. And so by not going through insurance, we're able to customize and make our own plans for each hero that we serve.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'm just, ever since our first conversation, I'm just so impressed with what you all do and the pure of heart mission that you have. And I think Orlando wanted to know, when was the Grand Canyon trip?
So we do 2 a year. The May team is sold out right now, and so is the September team. But I will say we'll be going again in 2023 in May and September.
All right.
And the organization that we partner with that does that, that helps us with the logistics on the ground is K2 Adventures. And
Okay.
Kevin and Kristen are the founders of that organization. They're good friends to Caleb and I. Kevin actually married us on the mountain last year. But if you want a spot that's not on our team, they have a lot of spots open too.
All right. So, Lando, we'll talk about this, brother.
If Orlando's in on it, I might get on that action.
There we go. The 3 of us there. That's awesome. This has been a great episode. I can't believe we're almost out of time. And we're at the point where it is time for our question. Let me set up the board here. So I think one of the things that we provide so many people is freedom. I mean, freedom from so many different things, as you've talked about, from their wounds, both the seen and the unseen, and their movements, and freeing from those that tell them they can't have these barriers. And so for you, we ask, what does freedom mean to you?
Yeah, the freedom to move, which you mentioned, is incredibly important. And that's why we're here. I'd say freedom to me is really, there's a quote that's popular in the hiking community, which is hike your own hike. And so for me, that means, it's a reminder that God created the universe. And then he sat back and he thought, okay, I want to create Sarah. I need a Marty. I need a James. And I'm going to give them each a purpose to fulfill on earth. I'm going to give them the gifts that they need to fulfill that purpose. And what's really cool is, we're all hiking this hike. We've all got this mountain to climb or this path that we're moving forward on. And it's because of the love of God and the service and sacrifices that our veterans, active military, and first responders give us that we're able to grow our gifts and to hike our own hike. And so that's what freedom means to me.
I love it. That's awesome. I love it. I love everything you guys are doing. And thank you for being our legend this week. We're definitely going to follow up with you about the Mount Kilimanjaro because I'm serious about that. That looks amazing, and all the different things that you're working on and how we can support you all in the future. And of course, thanks to A-Rod over at Salute to Suits as he supports veterans and their transition from battlefield to business and supporting our Freedom Means moments. You can get 1 suit, 2 shirts, 2 ties, and a pocket square for $275 and look amazing as you shed your BDUs and your camouflage uniforms and move out into the business world. So A-Rod, salute to suits. Check them out. And we will be doing a giveaway coming up soon. So Sarah, again, thanks for being for coming on the show. And we'll definitely I want to have you back. We're going to figure this out. We're going to do something because there's so much to talk about with you. So, and congrats again on your podcast. Go check them out. What was the name of the podcast again?
AT Podcast.
AT Podcast. You can find them online. Go like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's free, and you're supporting a great organization. We just found out with some people. There are 2 episodes in right now, so you're getting in on the ground floor. You won't miss an episode. You can go, I knew them when. So this is absolutely amazing. So awesome. And any parting words, James?
No, just thank you for what you're doing. As a father, I can tell you that, thank you for your father's service and thank you for what you're doing. I know he's proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you both for what you do and just the platform that you provide, teaching others through your gifts and allowing us to learn from the guests on Lounge with Legends.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And I'm going to put you in the green room and we're going to close out the episode. But thank you.
Thank you.
James, we've been looking forward to that one for a while. And, we're big with the Stoics and always the daily Stoics and talking about it. So this is absolutely amazing. And it did not disappoint.
Absolutely. Next time we get on, we'll have to ask Caleb to be on and John, because we need to ask a couple of questions. We need to get some Alejandro on the show. We need a Ranger on the show. Pittsburgh, he's retired now.
Former Pittsburgh, yes. And he moved over and went to another team.
But he's retired now. So now he's going to go back to Pittsburgh. So it's all good.
But absolutely. But again, we go support them, check out their podcast and on there. And then while you're out there, go ahead and check out Lounge with Legends on YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe. Helps us out. And you can follow us over. We're going to be at PodFest coming up May the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. We will be there teaching classes on networking and then giving discussing veteran transitions. So we'll be down there in Orlando, and we'll put a link up there so you can get your ticket and go down there. And then also don't forget, we do have tomorrow at noon, we have our, I'm trying to pull it up. There it is. Go JTF214.com. And you can sign up for a free course on how to get your finances in order for your small business. So absolutely free. James will be there doing an amazing job coaching on that one. And then, so who do we have for next week?
Since I'm on my wife's computer, I'm going to have to ask you to tell me who's on next week.
We have Jen Pasquale from Pride and Grit.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He helps the military spouses and with so many things, time management, all sorts. I can't even. There's so much to unpack there, but she'll be on next week. She's also in Bunker Labs with me. 22 Alpha Veterans in Residence DC, representing. So we'll be up there, and
we got to talk to Blake. Maybe he'll let me in the Bunker Labs down in Raleigh this year.
Yep, we get some Bunker Labs action there, and then I think next week we're recording with Bunker Labs as well for their podcast. So we'll be on there with their team. So appreciate it. But again, another great episode. Thanks, James, for deciding to join us today, even though you were late. And
I didn't miss movement though, Marty. I didn't miss movement. I LD'd on time.
This is true. And all right, brother. Well, I'm going to close out this episode, and we will see you all next week. So thank you for your service, James.
Airborne.
You've been watching the Lounge with Legends show, countering the narrative that veterans are all broken misfit toys. Veterans are the lifeblood of American freedom. Serving in harsh situations, coupled with their training, have forged them into some of the most resilient and capable leaders in the world. And that's where we come in, celebrating the success stories, taking you on a journey of transformation from military to business. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back soon. But find us on Facebook at Lounge with Legend or at JTF214. Till next time.